I'm your host, Tony T, as we broadcast live here on Pick Dogs and Sports Chat Plays YouTube channel and throughout social media. We'll get you out of here well before the top of the hour, give you guys enough time to get those bets in for the primetime games, and that's what we do here on the drive-thru Monday through Friday at 6 p.m. Eastern Time. Deliver live free picks for the games beginning at 7 p.m. Eastern Time and later, and deliver those winners, our professional handicappers over at Pick Dogs and Sports Chat Plays. So let's meet the capper and get right to the picks as we don't mess around here on the drive-thru. Welcome back from his vacation is Alex Smart. Alex, what's going on?
How you doing, Tony? Yeah, let's rock and roll with some preseason football, I guess.
Yeah, it is preseason on tab for tonight. 3 games here from the NFL. A lot of line moves here as information keeps coming in here about some of these teams here. So we'll go ahead and take a look at it for tonight. I'll get right to the start of preseason football. We'll look at the games for tonight. We got here to lead it off tonight, Colts and the Ravens here. We see the Colts going to lay 6, the total 36.5. Of course, the news there with Indy, they're going to start their quarterback, Anthony Richardson. Of course, Daniel Jones not playing here. He'll start week 2, and then, of course, then the backups coming in there for this Colts team. And, of course, next up we will have, let me get to my graphic here. Next up in NFL, it will be Bengals and Eagles here. Bengals, well, they're going to play starters. They don't want any more. We can't have any more slow starts. That loss in New England in week 1 was unacceptable. So we're going to play starters in the preseason. So Bengals 6, total 38. Goes out tonight with kind of somewhat of a revenge game. The Raiders going into Seattle because Pete Carroll, Geno Smith at Seattle. This one has moved up about a half a point here. Raiders will be playing their starters. Seahawks not. Raiders 5, total 36. We get right on. We get it started here with Alex.
Yeah, looking at that game, I'll tell you, the Bengals are expecting Desmond Ritter, a little bit of Jake Browning, and possibly rookie Peyton Thorne. What are you going to say? You like just tossing dice or flipping a coin? Yeah, I mean that's where we're at. We got the Eagles, Dorian Robinson, and we got rookies like all over the place here. I know there's going to be starters, but QB ratings just seem low right now for the Bengals. I mean, who's like how long is Burrow supposed to be in there? Did anybody say anything there? Because I've been looking for info on that all day, and I just stayed away from the game.
Yeah, I mean the coach went out and said several series. I don't know, what does that mean.
Yeah, and yeah, that sort of threw me. Is that going to be the whole first quarter, or I, you got to look at this game, and maybe live betting is the best way to go. It's the only way I can look at this game. There's no other way. Maybe first quarter because of all the starters. First quarter, if you get a decent total number in there, or maybe a side at 4.5 to maybe 6.5. First half, maybe. And I'm saying a lot of maybes here because that's what we've got. You've got to be honest sometimes with these preseason games. I mean, don't get me wrong. There's a lot of great preseason bettors out there, people that really study the angles, starters, everything else. And sometimes I like to think of myself in that tone, but this is just a game, I'm sorry, that I don't feel confident about. And, I've got to watch it, really. That's what I do.
All right, so anything else in the other ones? Other two?
You know what? I've got a total on the Raiders Seahawks tonight, and I was looking at the Ravens total here. I've got it once again. This is no matter what. When we were looking at preseason football, most preseason football totals hover in that low 30s range. Most,
Yeah.
not all, of course. And this one's one of them. And I'm looking at this 37.5 key number as being maybe just a little bit on the high side. No matter what, no one's going to just destroy their starters here and push for anything specific. I mean, it's not like a grudge match or anything. This is just preseason football, and we all know Harbaugh in the long run has been good. But you got to look at this. You got Lamar Jackson, and you got Cooper Rush, and you got Devin Leary, and you're going to look at them and you're going to say, hey, these guys are good for some yards and some runs, and Anthony Richardson, Daniel Jones. No, I shouldn't even say Daniel Jones in a positive tone, but anyway, Riley Leonard, and we've got Jason Bean. So, if any of these quarterbacks get in there today and say 35% of the snaps go to Jones,
Well, Jones
could be
isn't going to
some.
play. Yeah, the thing with Jackson, the way they're going to do it here is Anthony
Yeah.
Richardson's going to start this week, Daniel Jones next week, and then the
So
backups
what's
play.
happening? How many snaps for Richardson there? Sorry to interrupt. So how many
Yeah,
snaps for
as far
Richardson?
as Richardson, I thought I said it was about it. Let me go back and see what it is because I'm going to be on the one I like the most is that under in this game. Looking at this one here, Colts will play their starters preseason opener at the Richardson start here. They have been conducting joint practices this week. Baltimore not expected to play their starters. Looking here at Richardson expected to play a quarter and a half. Quarter and a half for Anthony Richardson.
That's
Then
35. 35.
yeah, and then it's
Yeah, I usually put the snap percentages out. Sorry, I didn't mean to
yeah,
interrupt again.
yeah.
Snap percentages, yeah.
Then it's QB 3 and 4 after that. In this spot, so you're not going to get obviously you're going to get Riley Leonard and Jason Bean for 2/3 of the game.
Right. Cooper Rush, no? Cooper Rush is not supposed to be in there for. Just looking
That's
here.
for Baltimore here. We're talking here about Indianapolis here.
Oh, you're talking about Leonard and Bean. Okay, yeah,
Yeah.
sorry. Sorry.
Yeah, because Cooper Rush and Larry will be playing this game in
Right.
this one. Jackson not
Yeah.
playing.
Yeah, Jackson's
But
out, yeah.
Daniel Jones will not play. So the number 2 is playing next week to start, probably again 2/3, in a quarter and a half, and then they'll assess it after that. And then they're going to go into week 3 and just basically play their backups. So
Yeah.
I
I know a lot of sorry. I know there's a lot of guys
100% of
that,
the snaps for the backups on Baltimore, 65% of the snaps for the backups for the Colts tonight.
that's what they're expecting. Yeah. I know a lot of people were just talking about the Colts. I see some pretty smart money coming in on the Colts week 1. So I'm starting to wonder about that too here. Just quickly, if you don't mind, what do you think of Richardson?
Not really that impressed with him. I wasn't impressed with him coming out of college. I mean, you're completing 55% of your passes. That's not a good completion rate. I mean, what are you thinking? Yeah, I mean, this is college football. You got to complete in the mid 60s to be a first round pick, mid 60s or greater to get my draft pick. If you're not accurate in the NFL, if you miss on 45% of your passes in college, how's that going to translate to the NFL, where they're much faster and smarter coaching?
So it's interesting today. Then just in this game, so the Colts, look like they've got a pretty big edge here tonight. Even though you're not crazy about Richardson, and I know a lot of people aren't, I'm not really sure I am. And they're first half favorites and they're full game favorites, and it makes you wonder, where this money's. I'm not saying that the public knows what they're doing. Most of the time they don't, but it's interesting stuff.
Because they say starter, they're going to play their starters, but then that's where they stop. They don't go deeper than that.
Right.
So they're going to play their starters. Okay, let's move the number.
Yeah.
That's what again. I kind of lean toward the favorites in this game, but I don't think there's going to be a lot of points scored. That's how I played. Also, one of the factors I like the under. The reason why I like the under is they went through these teams went through joint practices. So when you go through joint practice, you get to know your opponent much better. Especially the receivers, the corners versus receivers. You start to know their routes with what you get a read on those guys.
Yeah. Yeah, no, I'm with you. If I was going to go anywhere in this game, I'd definitely go the under. Yeah. 37.5 is just a little bit too high for this time of year. And like you said, joint practices.
Yeah, joint practices angle there, and probably not going to touch. Although I would lean favorites in the games, but I'm not touching them. Not in this one, but Bengals, Eagles, and Raiders game. But again, you can't 5-point line move in the Raider game. And then you had now it's from 1.5 Seahawks. It's a 7-point line move now in the Raider game. From a 1.5 point dogs to now 6-point favorites, so 7.5-point line move. You just can't make a living doing that. You just got to lay off it.
But as you can see, it's people just can't wait to get back into the trenches again. There's some money actually for this preseason action. So
there's enough money to move the line. Let's just put that. Actually, I didn't even see what the limits were in this game. I usually get the limits when it comes up on my screen here, on my odds screen. And let's see if there's. Oh, here we go. Limited increases here. Let's see what Pinnacle is going to take here. This one, NFL Colts, and the Colt game. The limit has been increased to what? Let's see what they're taking on these games. man, let's see here. Oh, my line service. Let's see if I can let me get an idea how much they're taking on this game. Oh man. Let's see what we got here. Okay, here we go. Pinnacle is going to take maximum bet of $5,000 in the Colts and Ravens. So that's enough money to move. That's it's not the 20,000 or higher that you see during the regular season, but 5,000 limit there on penny in this game.
In week one, that's
preseason.
Still not bad.
Preseason.
Pinnacle's a sharp book too. Yeah, in preseason. Yeah, well, I mean, in preseason, not week one. Yeah, but geez, yeah, because Pinnacle's a pretty sharp book, no matter what. I'm not advertising it for them or anything. They are.
No sharp book, and the fact that you're not seeing any, not enough. You're not getting 5.5 there, which we'd expect to see, right? The buyback on the penny line.
You would think.
Circa 6.5 too. Circa's the sharpest book in Vegas. Now, look, penny went to -12 down to 6, so penny's now moving to 6.5. So, that is again, that's telling, right? But again, I'm not buying it. I just don't want to touch it.
Yeah, no, I'm not.
Because at that point, you're the sheep. You're just pretty much the sheep at that point. It's just a bad line. But I'll stick to the under.
Those lines are being moved from. They're not being moved at that point by the public. They're being moved by the safety checkers at the sports books. Because at 6.5, we all know it's a 7 anyway. So, yeah, interesting stuff.
Yeah, interesting stuff there in preseason there with the high limit book there, taking 5 G's on this game. You can see the line movement. Pinnacle just got some money and Circa and Bet Chris got some money because they move it to 6 and -13. So sharp money, deep pockets moving these numbers here. So may not always be the right move, especially now. Why would you do it now when the line is when it's huge moving line? But anyway, let's continue on here on the drive-through. We'll turn our attention over to Major League, over to the baseball. 2 left on the board tonight, so I'll get the MLB graphic up so we get to the 2 games here on the board for this evening game. So let's get them up there for you right now. Let's take a look what we got tonight. All right, tonight in Major League Baseball, the 2 we've got going here, Reds and Pirates. There we can see the Pirates $1.60, total 6.5. Move over to Marlins and Braves. The Marlins is moving up here. They're getting some money. Now up to $1.31, total of 8. This was like $1.10 earlier this morning. So there has been some movement here in these lines. Let's just see if there's been any changes, any pitchers. We know today Paul Skeens is going to go here for Cincinnati in this one for tonight. So let's see if there's, it's Singer and Skeens going head-to-head tonight in that one. And then in the nightcap, we got Yuri Perez and Carlos Carrasco going head-to-head there in that one. So those are your pitching matchups there for tonight's action. So what do you got in baseball today, Alex, in these 2?
Well, I've got one game on tonight's card, and the one that I'm looking at, that I'm looking at here is, what? When Paul Skeens goes to the hill, you have to pay attention. But the only problem with him is now he's being limited. So the amount he's going to put out tonight, that's a big one. So we were talking earlier about those first 5 innings, and if you're going to look anyway, I would go with Skeens first 5 innings. I'd back Skeens to help Pittsburgh just barely get by here. I don't know. Pittsburgh offense just too inconsistent, and you're just throwing dice all the time. But when Skeens goes to the hill once again, you've got to really pay attention. So we'll go with Skeens first 5 innings, Pittsburgh.
There you go here from Alex. Of course, Skeens went 5 innings against the Rockies. He's pitched 138 innings in 23 games, and with the Pirates pretty much out of it, you got to wonder, probably better just to limit Skeens. You don't want to put any more mileage on that arm. So, I would expect a 5-inning performance again from Skeens. That's why I'm going to be looking at the Reds in this spot. The Reds have been hitting the ball well, 262 over their past 6. Singer in his past 10 starts, ERA at 3.98, but again, it's the Pirates bullpen you got to worry about. Past 6 games, ERA approaching 7. Pirates, when they're this big favorite at home, -125 to -175. They're 5-8, losing almost 7 units. I'll look at the Reds at that big plus price, thinking that Skeens will not go very deep. He went 5 innings against Colorado, and again, 138 innings pitched for this young man. You want him fresh for next year. You're pretty much this season's over in my book. So,
and the lack of run support he'll probably get too.
Oh yeah, yeah. And then now, and of course, Pirates, one of the teams that pretty much traded away some of their closer, and they traded away another with their bullpen arm. So they get worse in the bullpen after the trade deadline. like the Nationals did, and they did Minnesota. I got to look at Yuri Perez in Miami.
Oh, that was crazy. Minnesota, that was nuts. I didn't get any of that. That was
Yeah, I mean they got a lot of prospects there, but still, it was just nuts. I think Joe Ryan wasn't traded to Boston. That was a last minute decision, not for him to go there. But we'll see how it goes. I like Yuri Perez here from Miami. I understand the line move. Miami hit the ball very well, 260 on the road. Atlanta not hitting. Now look at this bullpen over their past 23 games, an ERA near 6. Yikes. Yuri Perez, past 5 starts, ERA 1.29. I remember when Yuri Perez came to the league a couple of years ago. He would look really good. Then had that Tommy John. I think it was like 20 years old when he came to the league. I think he's 22 now. So Yuri Perez, a bright future for that Marlins team. I think definitely Miami, some bright future with some of their arms there. Meyer, if he gets better, they can do something. Of course, again, it comes down to will they get the run support for these guys in the bullpen. Some of these teams that don't spend any money, right?
Yeah, that's right. They're one of the hottest teams. They were one of the hottest teams going into this series, weren't they, in Major League Baseball since the All-Star break? I think they're one of the hottest teams.
Them in Milwaukee.
Yeah, and then just sort of, yeah. I think there was some vulnerability there after the Yankees tweet, like an emotional letdown situation.
Yeah.
So let's see if they can sort of work back from here.
Oh, those Yankees, man! Wow, it's been a big drop from them. It's just like I said. It just Judge out. The bullpen was sharp to start the season, but then again, they got Cole got hurt. They took some injuries from the starting rotation, which hurt them quite a bit. When you saw Cole go out, and really didn't do much there to get some starters. I think the starting pitching is really what they need to give some breaks to these bullpen. They move. Gill came back, but was ineffective coming back. Of course, that's why you're seeing guys tomorrow. Schiller will go for them tomorrow, and he has not been effective at all for this Yankees team. And matter of fact, look at the Yankees. What do they look like here? With you got Yarborough, Clark Schmidt. Remember, Clark Schmidt went down with. So the two arms they missed the most are Clark Schmidt and Garrett Cole. Those two injuries there, that set them back a little bit there. No doubt about that. So Schiller was there.
What they do. I would take a future sticking on the Yankees. Just on, I don't know. There's just something about a team like the Yankees with all that talent, their ability to hit lefties, and Judge sort of just. It's like almost putting a battery in a Tesla. It goes from dead to like to 100%. So I don't know. We'll see, but I still like the Yankees no matter what. Maybe I'm wrong, but
we'll see how that rolls here with the Yankees. We'll move on over to the W for tonight's action. Sport I don't handicap, but we'll see what Alex thinks about these games here tonight as we get into the next series of games here. So go ahead and move the graphic over here, and we'll get over here to the W here. Let's see, what did we do here? Did I do something? Oh, I think I know what I did. Oh, that's what I did. Let me get the games up here. Just give me 1 second here. 2 caps game. Here we go. WNBA tonight. We have the Dream in the Sky. I got the Dream laying 11 here. Total 161.5. Move on to 7 Sparks. It's a Sparks 9.5. They've gotten hot here. Total 174.5. Fever and the Mercury. Mercury 4.5. Total sets 172. What do you, any of these three? What you like here, Alex?
Yeah, I'm just gonna blast some stuff out. Angel Reese is still out with an injury. The Sky. They got Ariel Atkins back in the lineup again. But I don't think that's going to mean too much. Sky have pretty well come to the end of the line here, and I think it's they haven't done well from day one. And the Dream seem to live to play against teams like this. And my own line's closer to 13 here, so if we're going to still be able to lay up 9.5, 10, I know double digits seems a lot, but I think Atlanta's 10-5 on the road this season. I think we're gonna see a cover with them. And if I was going to lean anyway, I would go over around 160 at least. As high as 162. That's where I'd go with that one. Sparks at Connecticut. We all know that the Sparks have had an amazing basketball season. I mean, they've really looked good. But at home, they have not looked good, and they're only 3-10 ATS this season. I know the Connecticut Sun are sort of in a rebuilding phase, but hey, man, plus points here, double-digit plus points, and I'll be on that with the Connecticut Sun. And don't really like that Phoenix Mercury Indiana team.
All right, there from Alice. Let's continue here on the drive through. We go north of the border here for some Canadian football tonight. We got games, a single game tonight. one tomorrow, and then we go with the 2 games on Saturday from the CFL here as we head on. We'll continue here on the drive-through, and then we'll take a look at this one here tonight between BC and Hamilton. In this game, we've got Hamilton favored 2.5. There are some threes. Well, actually, the threes are pretty much out there. Total sits here at 55.5, 56.
There's something. The Tiger Cats have come from behind in 2 straight games, okay? They were lucky to beat the Elks last week. I mean, on a late play, there was a touchdown, essentially, went through the hands of the receiver for the Elks, and pretty embarrassing. But, they also gave up a late, and a lot of things did not go their way. 2 weeks in a row. So, the Tigers let down situation last week after a big comeback the week before. I think the magic of 3 here, and I think finally their vulnerabilities come out, and we see them get upset this week.
There you go from Alex. All right, we got you through our sports coverage for today. 4 sports in action. I got you some picks today, and of course now it's time for our Parlay Purple segment, where Cap is giving a parlay, team player prop, game of the future. Anything you like here, Alex, today, or maybe some games for tomorrow?
Yeah, let me just see. Now, I did like something earlier today, and I'll let you know if make sure the game. We'll check here. I gotta laugh at stuff like that because, I said it before. I really don't look at a lot of game starts unless they're afternoon games, and of course, unless they're baseball. And we all know where college football is, but when college football, just giving a long story here, trying to make it short anyway. When you look at college football games from day games to night games, there is a difference. And that's something a lot of people don't handicap. So going towards football season, I just wanted to throw that in there a little. You know what? Tonight, I still got to go with that Colts Ravens under. That's all I see here that I really like. And we'll go with Skeens, first 5, and we'll make it into a parlay.
There you go from Alex there. I'll do a parlay here. I'll do the under there with that Colts game, and also look Colts and the Ravens, and also matched it up with the Reds tomorrow there in Major League Baseball there. All right, we got you through our Parlay Purple segment. Now it's time to see what our cappers have for sale over at Pick Dogs. We're headed to big weekend of action with college football. We got a lot of MLB, WNBA, CFL here on tap. Let's see what Alex has for sale over at Pick Dogs for tonight's action. We'll see what's rolling with Alex. Alex, what you got for sale?
Right now, I've got that one NFL preseason game. It's the late game, Seahawks, and I have one Major League Baseball play, and that one comes via the Marlins Braves game. And you know what? Looking at that one more time, that Skeens, I like the over 7.5 strikeouts. If we can still get that for plus money tonight with Skeens, even though he should be on a leash.
There you go, there from Alex there. I'll go with Alex over at Pick Dogs. Remember the promo code Pick at checkout will save you that 15% off. All right, guys, I got a best bet on the board right now for Major League Baseball. I am the number 2 unit producer in Major League Baseball for the document over at Pick Dogs Premium. So get on board with me and match up with your favorite cap rate. Match up with Alex with the multi-cap promotion. Get on board. Had a great year in NFL as well as college football. So get on board with me over at Pick Dogs Premium. Use the promo code PICK to save that 15% off. All right, guys, with you here Monday through Friday here at 6 p.m. Eastern Time. Make sure you like, subscribe, set those notifications, be live with us to get the plays for there in real time. All right, Alex, anything you have to say here before we close it out?
Let's get ready for football season. What's the saying before a big rumble? Let's get ready to rumble. Who was that guy? I forget his name now.
Michael
Let's
Buffer.
Get ready to rumble.
Michael Buffer.
That's his name. Yeah, let's get ready to rumble.
Football on the rise. We got the preseason Fix 16 game scheduled for this week and next into week 3. So lots happening in the sports world in the weekend. Bye, guys. Make it a winner. We're back tomorrow.